Welcome to our third video of vectors in 3 dimensions. Today we're going to do operations. And I could go through a bunch of definitions with you, but when you're doing operations, sometimes it's just easier to do it. So we have 3 vectors here. We have vector v and vector w and vector z. V, w, and z. So just make sure whenever you're doing this kind of stuff, you're writing it down correctly, because that's where the mistakes often happen. So if I want to do 3 times vector v, that's multiplying by a scalar. 3 is a scalar. Scalar is just a number. So I want to take 3 and multiply it by 1, 5, 2. It's almost like the distributive property. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 5 is 10. And 3 times 2 is 6. And that's it. Find v plus w. Well, v is 1, 5, 2. And w is negative 6, 3, negative 2. Whenever you're adding vectors, you just add the x components, add the y components, and then add the z components. So we have 1 plus negative 6, which is negative 5. We have 5 plus 3, which is 8. And then we have 2 plus negative 2, which is 0. And that's our final vector. Then we have w minus 2z. Z is written in component form, or written in standard unit vector form. This is the same. Notice there's only a j and a k, so it gets a little tricky. There are still 3 components to this vector, but it usually goes I, then j, then k. So in this case, you have a 0 for your I component, 5 for your j component, and then negative 1 for your k. So you are adding w, which is negative 6, 3, and negative 2. And then k, which we said was 5, 0, 5, and negative 1. And let's see, we're not actually adding it. We are subtracting 2 times vector z. So, again, order of operations says that we would multiply everything by 2 first. You could multiply by negative 2 and then add the 2 vectors, or you could just multiply by 2, whichever method you prefer. In theory, you should get the same answer. But 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Still subtracting, and then we have negative 6, 3, and negative 2. It's negative 2, correct? Yes. Now we're just adding the components. So negative 6 and 0, or we're subtracting the components. So that's negative 6. And then 3 minus 10, that's negative 7. And then 2 minus negative 2, 2 minus negative, or sorry, negative 2 minus negative 2 is negative 2 plus 2, which is 0. And that's our final resulting vector. Feel free to go back and review this video. Now you may work on your assignment. And as always, feel free to ask me questions if you feel the need, and make good choices.